Welcome back to Around the Cauldron, where we talk theology, philosophy, and everyday life as a modern witch. Today's episode was one that was brought to me by a patron over on Patreon, so thank you for your suggestion. Today we are going to be talking about finding your life purpose. So if you're ready to hop into the show, grab some coffee, pull up a seat, and join me around the cauldron. First, I need to apologize for any background noise. I know you probably weren't expecting to hear me or see me today because of the moving thing. I will talk a little bit about that in the bonus section, but I go into more detail on the video coming out on Thursday. I did a sort of get ready with me video where I did my makeup and just talked. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have a bonus section where I talk a little bit about what is going on, or if I'm just going to let you watch Thursday's video. There also might be a little bit of background noise. I'm still in my apartment. Also, my cats are playing on the floor and my ferret is awake, so I apologize about that. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. I am giving away a bunch of stuff for hitting 1,000 subscribers. I'm giving away I'm giving away 2 signed copies of different books, one by Althea Sebastiani and one by M.A. Phillips. And also Althea threw in a couple of extra goodies, which I'm not going to reveal until I draw for the winners. So make sure that you enter the giveaway because these are some really awesome extras that she decided to toss in. To give you a little bit of a hint, Althea and her family do their own rock hounding. So if you don't know what that is, Google it. That might give you an idea of what the extras are that she included in her little package that she sent to me to give away. I want to start something new for these podcast episodes. Since they come out on Mondays and I really enjoy reading tarot, I have decided that at the beginning of every podcast episode, I am going to shuffle one of my tarot decks and pull a tarot card for the week. So for this week, I'm going to shuffle my Shadowscapes deck. This is one of my favorite decks. The imagery is really, really pretty. I'll leave a link in the description and in the show notes of where you can get this deck. And I should probably do a deck walkthrough at one point. I don't have the box or anything anymore. I just have the deck and the little book that came with it. But this is a really pretty deck. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. Can you even see that? I'll give them a little bit of a shuffle down here too. And I'm going to cut the deck in half. Normally when I read tarot, I just go with what my gut tells me. So I cut it in half. And then we're going to take the top card and see what the top card says. Do we do reversals today? Do we do reversals today? Should we? Well, it doesn't matter because the card's not reversed. So, did you see that? Whatever. I'll get better at that. But today we pulled the Page of Pentacles. Let me see if I can get this to focus for those watching on YouTube. Let me see. There it goes. The Page of Pentacles. Now, the basic meaning of the Page of Pentacles covers things like skill development, apprenticeship, and bettering yourself, learning how to do things for yourself. But I wanted to look up the meaning in the Shadowscapes deck, the little book that came with the Shadowscapes deck, so we can get that too, because some decks are a little different. So in the little book that came with the Shadowscapes deck, the Page of Pentacles reads, "She is trustworthy, diligent, studious, and embraces scholarship. She is practical, down to earth, and unafraid to embrace a world of physical enjoyment." So that is your tarot card for the week. If you read tarot or you're learning tarot, what I would recommend for you to do for this card for this week is to look at it in your own deck, do a little bit of research into the Page of Pentacles. What does it mean, upright, reverse, and what sort of symbolism you can find within the card. So on to the topic today. Today's topic is about finding your life purpose. And this was a topic that was suggested by a patron over on Patreon. So thank you, Rose, for this suggestion on finding your life purpose. This is a topic that is heavy, not heavy, not even controversial, but it is going to vary depending on your belief system and how you view the world. So I can only approach this subject from my own experience and my own belief system. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm the kind of person that has struggled with finding my purpose in life because there are so many different things that I'm interested in, and there are so many different things that I want to try, but I don't really know which one is my life purpose. I don't really know if I have a life purpose. Does life have meaning? Does life have a reason? Or are we just here because of evolution? Or are we here because the gods created us? So you can see how it can become complicated depending on who you ask this question to. I forgot my water. Better. So I Googled this question about different ways that you can find your life purpose. And one thing that I found people trying to find their life purpose with was astrology. And I know jack about astrology. I don't know anything besides the fact that I am a Scorpio, and I don't even remember what my moon and my ascending are at this point. So there are some schools of thought that say astrology can help you find your life purpose. Astrology can point you in the right direction for different things that you should or shouldn't explore. I'll leave a few links in the description and in the show notes for what I found, but I don't know enough about astrology to speak about it accurately, so I'm just not going to. What I can do though is talk about this question or this topic from my own perspective. Now, I don't know if my explanation or my opinion on this is going to differ from other people. It probably does, but for the longest time, I was of the school of thought that life has a purpose. Everyone has a specific reason for being here. Everyone has specific things that they need to accomplish for their soul to transcend and move on to the next stage of being a soul. Now, though, I'm not so sure. And I think that's okay. I think people struggle with the idea of finding a life purpose because we want there to be meaning to life. We want to be here for a reason. And that's part of the human experience. We always seek to find reasons for things. I even talked about finding reasons for things in my episode on signs. We always want there to be a reason for things that happen, but I don't think there always is. And the same thing goes for being alive. You might just be alive. I mean, where can I start with this? I guess I can just start at the beginning with my particular beliefs on life in general. If you're watching on YouTube, this is probably going to be a talking head video. I don't know if I'm going to have any B-roll footage because, well, just watch Thursday's video and I'll talk all about it. But I don't know if there is a reason for life. In my own thinking, I don't believe that everyone is born for a reason. I don't believe that people die for a reason. I don't believe that things that happen to people or for people happen for a reason other than certain chains of events, right? We know why babies are born. If you don't know why babies are born, go ask your parents or your grown-ups, okay? That is not a conversation I'm going to have. But I also don't think people die for a reason other than they got sick or they were just old or some terrible accident happened. The same thing goes for different events in life. Not everything is going to happen for a reason. And I think my views on life and reasons for things happening really affect my perspective, I guess, on life having a purpose, on having a purpose in life for yourself. So I do not believe that there is a plan for every single person on this planet. This, I find, comes from a lot of Christian beliefs where they speak a lot about God having a plan. God has a plan for everyone. Every single thing in your life has been predetermined. I don't believe that. I can't. That is not something I have ever found myself able to believe, mainly because of the things that have happened in my life that I had no control over. Those things didn't happen for any reason other than the fact that sometimes other people are really shitty. So that's that. What I do think, though, is that we can give purpose to our own life by the things that we do, the values that we uphold, and how we interact with society and our neighbors. I also think purpose can be given to our lives through our gods. Before working with and honoring Bridget, I really wasn't sure what was going on in my life, what direction I was going, who I was. Even now, it's something that I still struggle with. But in working with deity, for me, in working with Bridget, there is a direction that I'm going, and she is steering me in the direction that she wants me to go for her own reasons. And that has sort of given me a purpose in my life, that has given me something to strive toward. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with being given a purpose by an outside being, by an outside entity. I think that is a 100% valid experience. I saw a post on Facebook recently that talked about the meaning of life. And if I can remember where I found it, I will put it up here on the screen for those watching on YouTube. Podcast listeners, I'll leave a link to it in the description or in the show notes. But it basically said that your purpose in life may not be something that you work toward your entire life. It could have been that one time that you were nice to someone in the parking lot and maybe you saved their life. It could be having a child that goes on to change the world. It could be helping the elderly person walk across the street, you know? It might just be one little thing that you do out of the entire span of your time on this planet. But if your purpose in life is just to do that one thing, does that make your purpose any less meaningful? No, it doesn't. Not in my opinion. And I think it's okay to only have one purpose in life like that too. I think that we strive to give meaning to every single thing that happens to us in our life because we want to know that we're not alone. We want to know that there's a reason for us being alive on this planet right now. We want to know that there is a reason that some really terrible things happen. It's the human nature. It's part of the human experience. But I don't believe that everything is predetermined. I don't believe that bad things happen to good people for a reason. I don't believe that good things happen to bad people for a reason either. Sometimes things just happen. So I guess this is going to turn into more of a how to give your life purpose for yourself, because I don't really think that purpose can be given to your life from an outside source unless you're working with deities. But I think that might be a little different, but I can talk about that too. I don't know how qualified I am to answer this question because my interests change so fast, and so many times. I mean, I grew up as a kid. Some really crappy things happened to me as a kid, okay? And I grew up wanting to do good in the world. I grew up wanting to be a mom to as many kids as I could possibly have. And here I stand at 29 years old with one child who is going to be 8 years old soon, and that's the way it's staying. I'm not having any more. I mean, then I had an experience that changed my life, but then it changed again. So, I mean, in high school, one of my friends got pregnant and some things happened and she ended up not staying with the father of the child, but I was there with her while she was in labor. And it was such an experience for me that I immediately knew in that moment that I wanted to become a nurse. I wanted to become an obstetrics and gynecology nurse. I wanted to be there for people like my friend who didn't really have anybody to be there with them. But then guess what? It changed. And it's changed several times since then. And I have constantly been searching myself for the purpose to my life. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing that's meaningful? Is it meaningful for me? Is it meaningful for my family? My advice for finding purpose in your life is to start looking at yourself first. Look at what brings you joy. Look at what makes you feel fulfilled. This could be as big as spending every weekend volunteering at a soup kitchen, but it could also be as small as knitting socks for the neighborhood kids that don't have any. You know, it doesn't have to be this profound thing that you're doing to find meaning and purpose in your life, because everyone's life is different. What makes you feel fulfilled might not make me feel fulfilled. And that's all right, because if it makes you feel fulfilled, and as long as you're not hurting anybody else in the process, and that's your purpose, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And what makes me feel fulfilled is not going to make you feel fulfilled, and that's okay too. I still don't know what my purpose is in life. I know that I have several responsibilities. I have the responsibility to be a good partner because I have a boyfriend. I have the responsibility to be a good mother because I have a child. I have a responsibility to take care of myself so that I can be present for them. Some of those things give my life purpose. Having a child and raising a child gives my life purpose because I want to raise her to make the world a better place. You know, there's a saying that I have seen going around on the internet for a really long time, that we don't need to raise our children to be tough because the world sucks. We need to raise our children to be better so that the world doesn't suck anymore. And that kind of drives me forward in my experience as being a mom, but it's not the full experience. It's not my full purpose. So if you're looking for purpose in your life, start with yourself first. Find out what brings you joy and what makes you happy. What gives you that feeling in your chest of just, you have done a good thing. What is that for you? And go from there, because that's just your starting point. That's just where everything begins. And after that, question everything. Question why you do the things you do and why certain things bring you joy and make you happy and fulfilled. The next thing that I can say really just might not apply to everyone, and this is going to be me speaking to those of you who are working with different deities or higher beings. You have to have those conversations with them. I am still trying to figure out exactly the path that Bridget has me on. In this last year of working with Bridget and really sort of giving my spiritual path over to her, my life has just flipped upside down. I've moved 3,000 miles away from where I was. I'm finishing up writing a book on shadow work that is sort of an introduction to shadow work plus a workbook. And through this whole process, she has a purpose for me. She's not just moving me through all of these life changes and through all of this shadow illumination for nothing. In my experience, the gods always have a reason when you're working with them and when you're honoring them. So if you work with deities, it might be worth it to have that conversation with them and to ask them. They might not tell you. They might just be like, that's none of your business. You signed up for this and this is what we're gonna do. That's their prerogative. They can do what they want. Do some divination. Pull some tarot cards. Ask your pendulum. Do a rune reading. Whatever your method of divination is, use it as a tool of introspection if you don't believe like I do that it can help guide you in the future. But I don't believe that our life purpose is given to us the day that we're born or even the day that we're conceived. I believe that the purpose for us living is entirely dependent and circumstantial. It's going to change depending on who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. And that might not be the answer that you were looking for. Sorry. But that is the answer that I have. I don't know. I don't know entirely. But I think that's okay. I think it is 100% okay to not know your purpose. And that might be difficult for some people to grapple with, which I understand. I am in the midst of a self-crisis myself at the moment, trying to figure out who I am outside of the different hats that I wear, trying to figure out what I want in my life, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and what the reason for all of it is. So if I ever have a definitive answer, I will let you know. 100% I will tell you. Right now, I can only offer advice on my personal experience for finding a purpose for your life. So if you're struggling to find a purpose for your life, I want you to ask yourself, what makes you happy? What brings you joy? What sort of things do you enjoy doing? How do you best feel that you can help others? In my experience, that gives my life purpose, how I can help other people. I mean, I'm raising a kid and I'm here on YouTube trying to spread good, accurate information, build up a community of loving, like-minded people. I mean, it's just what I'm doing right now. How can you help others? How can you help yourself? And if you work with deities, ask them, what is your purpose for me? Where are you taking me? Do you have a plan for me? Do you have an agenda? What is it you want from me? Those are a couple of questions that you can ask your gods that they may or may not answer. I hope this episode was okay. I hope it answered some questions, maybe gives you some inspiration and ideas for where you can go and different things to really ask yourself to find the purpose in your life for yourself. I can tell you that while I may not believe every person is born on this planet with a predetermined plan, I do know that we are here for more than just living our lives, making money, and paying bills. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much to my patrons over on Patreon for all of your support through 2020 and the nonsense that has been this year. If you'd like to help support my show and the work that I do here at Round the Cauldron, please feel free to join me at patreon.com/roundthecauldron and get patron exclusive perks and content. You can also make a purchase in my shop at shop.roundthecauldron.com, where I have crocheted goodies as well as different tarot readings and guided meditations. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, and also the links for my Discord and my Facebook group are going to be in the description and in the show notes. I would love to see all of your beautiful smiling faces there, or your avatars, whatever you want to share. And build a community space where everyone is free to be themselves, ask questions, and get answers from more than one perspective.